The alpha buried his lover 3 years ago. Today, that same lover opened his eyes. But when he saw me, he didn't call me Ian. He said 4 words that changed everything. "You're not my lover." My blood ran cold. Because he was right. I wasn't Seo Ian. I was Jae-min, a stranger from another world who had just awakened inside the body of the man this alpha had loved and lost. But what terrified me most wasn't that Tae-hyun knew I wasn't his dead lover. It was what he said next. "Then tell me, who brought you back?" Chapter 1. The body that should have stayed dead. The first thing Jae-min felt was cold. Not ordinary cold. It was the kind that seemed to seep through his bones, settle inside his lungs, and make every breath feel borrowed. He opened his eyes. A ceiling of dark wood blurred above him. For several seconds, Jae-min simply stared. Where was his apartment? Where was his laptop? Where was the half-finished cup of coffee beside his bed? He remembered falling asleep while reading a novel. He remembered complaining about the ridiculous ending. He remembered thinking that the author had ruined the most interesting character by killing him in chapter 47. Then, nothing. Jae-min pushed himself upright. A mirror stood across the room. His reflection froze him. The man staring back was beautiful. Pale skin, long black hair falling messily around a delicate face, a slender body wrapped in a white hospital shirt, and a faint scar beneath his left collarbone. Jae-min knew that face. Everyone who had read The Alpha's last winter knew that face. No. His voice came out softer than expected. He stumbled toward the mirror. No, 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 no. That was Seo Ian. The dead Omega, the beloved of the novel's male lead. Ian had died 3 years before the main story began. His death was supposed to be the Alpha's greatest tragedy. Jae-min grabbed the edge of the mirror. This isn't funny. The door opened. A man walked in, tall, broad-shouldered, black hair neatly pushed away from his forehead. His expression was cold enough to make the room feel colder. Jae-min recognized him instantly. Kang Tae-hyun, the Alpha heir, the most powerful character in the novel, the man who had spent 3 years mourning Seo Ian. Tae-hyun stopped. His eyes locked onto Jae-min. Neither moved. Then Tae-hyun's face changed. Not shock, not happiness. Something much more complicated. He whispered one word. Ian. Jae-min's heart pounded. He should have answered. Instead, he stepped backward. Tae-hyun crossed the room in 3 strides. His hand closed around Jae-min's wrist. The Alpha's pupils contracted. Jae-min felt a powerful wave of pheromones. His body reacted before his mind could. His knees weakened. Tae-hyun caught him around the waist. For one terrifying second, Jae-min was pressed against the Alpha's chest. The scent was unmistakable. Cold cedar. Rain. Something warm beneath it. In the novel, Tae-hyun's scent had always been described as winter cedar. Jae-min swallowed. Tae-hyun. The Alpha went completely still. His grip loosened. His eyes became frighteningly sharp. You called me that. Jae-min realized his mistake. The original Seo Ian had never called Tae-hyun by his given name. Not after their relationship had broken. Not before Ian's death. Jae-min pulled away. Tae-hyun stared at him. You're not him. Silence. Jae-min's blood turned cold. Tae-hyun stepped closer. You have his face. His fingers lifted toward Jae-min's cheek but stopped before touching him. You have his scent. His voice cracked almost imperceptibly. But you're not Seo Ian. Jae-min could barely breathe. How do you know? Tae-hyun looked directly into his eyes. Because Ian hated thunderstorms. Jae-min froze. Outside, rain hammered against the windows. Ian would always hide whenever it rained this hard. Tae-hyun's expression softened with unbearable sadness. But you're standing here listening to it. He stepped back. So tell me. His voice became cold again. Who are you? Jae-min looked at the alpha who was supposed to be grieving a dead lover. He knew the truth. He was Han Jae-min, a stranger, a reader, a man who had never existed in this world. And somehow, he had awakened inside the body of the person Tae-hyun had loved most. I don't know, Jae-min whispered. For the first time, Tae-hyun looked genuinely frightened. Then the hospital lights flickered, and somewhere outside the room, an alarm began to scream. Chapter 2. The Alpha Who Remembered. The alarm lasted less than a minute, but by the time it stopped, the room had filled with doctors and nurses. Jae-min was pushed back onto the bed. Someone checked his pulse. Someone else examined his pupils. Questions came from every direction. Do you know your name? Jae-min hesitated. Seo Ian. The answer came automatically. He hated himself for saying it. The doctor smiled with relief. Excellent. His memory appears intact. Tae-hyun stood against the wall, silent, watching. Jae-min could feel his gaze on him. After the doctors left, the room became quiet again. Tae-hyun approached the bed. You lied. Jae-min looked up. I didn't. You said your name was Ian. Because that's the body I'm in. Tae-hyun's expression hardened. Don't joke about that. I wasn't joking. The alpha stared at him. Jae-min took a breath. I don't know how I got here. Tae-hyun said nothing. I remember another life. Another life? Yes. In another world? Jae-min nodded. Tae-hyun's face remained unreadable. I was reading a book. What book? Jae-min hesitated. Then he said the title. Tae-hyun's eyes narrowed. What happens in it? Jae-min looked down. You die. The silence that followed was suffocating. You're supposed to die at the end. Tae-hyun's jaw tightened. And Ian? Jae-min swallowed. He dies too. Tae-hyun looked away. For several seconds, he said nothing. Then he asked quietly, How? Jae-min remembered. The scene was burned into his mind. Seo Ian was poisoned during a political banquet. Tae-hyun arrived too late. Ian died in his arms. Tae-hyun destroyed the family responsible. Then he disappeared from society. The novel's actual protagonist met him 3 years later. That was when the main story began. Jae-min realized something. If he had entered the story now, then the timeline had changed. He wasn't supposed to be alive. And Tae-hyun wasn't supposed to know him yet. I don't know when I arrived, Jae-min admitted. Tae-hyun came closer. Why do you know things about me? Because I read your story. You read about me. Jess, what did the book say? Jae-min looked into his eyes. It said you loved Ian. Tae-hyun's expression cracked. Only for a moment. But Jae-min saw it. And? It said you never loved anyone after him. Tae-hyun turned away. That sounds like me. Jae-min's chest tightened. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I stole his face. You didn't choose this. The alpha's voice was unexpectedly gentle. Jae-min looked at him. Tae-hyun continued. But you need to understand something. He walked closer. I loved Ian. Jae-min nodded. And I know you're not him. Another nod. But when I look at you, Tae-hyun stopped. His fingers curled into a fist. I keep wanting to believe you're him. Jae-min's heart ached. You shouldn't. I know. Then why are you still here? Tae-hyun looked at him. Because 3 years ago, Ian died. His voice became almost inaudible. And today, he opened his eyes. Jae-min had no answer. Tae-hyun turned toward the door. Before leaving, he stopped. Tomorrow, you'll leave the hospital. Jae-min blinked. Where will I go? With me? No. Tae-hyun glanced back. You don't know this world. I can manage. You know the story. Jae-min frowned. That makes me more dangerous. No. Tae-hyun's gaze sharpened. It makes you the only person who might know how to keep me from repeating it. The door closed. Jae-min sat alone. Then he noticed something on the bedside table. A photograph. Seo Ian and Tae-hyun stood together beneath a cherry tree. Ian was smiling. Tae-hyun was looking at him. Jae-min stared at the photograph. Then his reflection appeared faintly in the glass. For the first time, he wondered whether he had truly taken Ian's body, or whether someone had brought him here for a reason. Chapter 3. Living in a Dead Man's Name. Tae-hyun's mansion was exactly as Jae-min remembered from the novel. Cold, elegant, too large for one person. Every hallway seemed designed to remind visitors that the Kang family had more money than they could ever spend. But there was one strange thing. The mansion was filled with photographs of Ian. Jae-min stopped in front of one. Ian stood beside a lake, laughing. Another showed him sitting at a piano. Another captured him asleep on Tae-hyun's shoulder. Jae-min felt like an intruder. You don't have to look at them. Tae-hyun's voice came from behind. Jae-min turned. Why do you keep them? Because they're memories. You never moved on. You never moved on. Tae-hyun's eyes darkened. Neither did my heart. Jae-min looked away. They ate dinner in silence. Afterward, Tae-hyun showed him a bedroom. It had clearly belonged to Ian. Jae-min stood in the doorway. This is his room. Yes. I can't sleep here. Then don't. I don't want to erase him. You won't. Jae-min looked at him. Tae-hyun walked toward a closet. Your clothes are still here. He opened it. Rows of expensive clothing remained untouched. Jae-min stared. You kept everything? Yes. Even after 3 years? Yes. There was no embarrassment in Tae-hyun's answer. Only grief. Jae-min picked up a dark sweater. The scent of cedar clung faintly to it. His heart tightened. You really loved him. Tae-hyun nodded. I still do. That night, Jae-min couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the original story. The next major event was supposed to happen in 6 weeks. The Kang family would attend the Winter Foundation Gala. That was where Tae-hyun would meet the protagonist, and that meeting would begin the entire plot. If Jae-min did nothing, the story might still happen. But Ian was alive. That alone could destroy the original timeline. At 2 in the morning, Jae-min went downstairs. He found Tae-hyun sitting alone in the library. You're awake. So are you. Jae-min sat across from him. I need to tell you something. Tae-hyun closed the book in his hands. The gala. What about it? Don't go. Why? You'll meet someone there. Tae-hyun stared at him. Who? The person who eventually becomes the protagonist of this story. Silence. Tae-hyun leaned back. Are you jealous? Jae-min almost choked. No. The alpha's lips moved slightly. It wasn't quite a smile. Then why do you care? Because I know what happens. And what happens? You fall in love. Tae-hyun studied him. With someone who isn't you? Yes. Will I be happy? Jae-min hesitated. No. Will he be happy? I don't know. Tae-hyun stood. Then I won't go. Jae-min blinked. You're not even curious? I was. And now? Tae-hyun walked toward him. Now I'm curious about something else. What? Why does the man who claims not to be Ian care so much about who I love? Jae-min's face warmed. I don't. You do. I don't. You're lying. Tae-hyun stopped close enough that Jae-min could feel his warmth. You're not Ian. I know. But sometimes, his voice softened. You look at me exactly the way he used to. Jae-min's heart stumbled. I don't know what you mean. Tae-hyun stepped back. Neither do I. He returned to his desk. Go to sleep. Jae-min left. But neither man noticed the shadow standing outside the library. A woman had heard everything. Madam Kang, Tae-hyun's mother. She looked toward the hallway. Her expression was cold. Impossible. She had buried Seo Ian herself. She knew the man upstairs was supposed to be dead, and she intended to prove it. Chapter 4. The Family That Wanted Him Dead. Madam Kang arrived the following morning. Jae-min recognized her immediately. In the novel, she had been one of the main antagonists. Elegant, controlled, ruthless. She had opposed Ian's relationship with Tae-hyun because she believed an Omega from a lower status family was unworthy of the Kang heir. Jae-min entered the dining room. Madam Kang looked at him. Her teacup stopped halfway to her lips. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then she placed it down. Who brought him back? Jae-min's stomach dropped. Tae-hyun stepped between them. He came back on his own. That isn't possible. I know. Her eyes narrowed. Is he truly Ian? No. Jae-min looked at Tae-hyun. The alpha didn't hesitate. He isn't. Madam Kang stood. Then why is he in this house? Because he has nowhere else to go. He has a face that belongs to my dead son's lover. Tae-hyun's expression hardened. Don't call him a thing. I didn't. You were about to. Madame Kang turned toward Jae-min. What is your name? Han Jae-min. The room became silent. Madame Kang repeated it. Han Jae-min. Yes. You claim to have come from another world. Yes. What do you know about the Kang family? Almost everything. That answer changed her expression. She approached him. What happens to Tae-hyun? Jae-min looked at her. He loses everything. And you? I don't know. Madam Kang studied him for several seconds. Then she said, You are dangerous. Jae-min nodded. I know. Yet my son protects you. He shouldn't. Tae-hyun's voice came from behind. That's enough. Madame Kang looked at him. You're already becoming attached. Tae-hyun said nothing. She smiled bitterly. 3 years ago, I watched you become a ghost after Ian died. Her gaze moved to Jae-min. I won't watch it happen again. She left. Jae-min exhaled. She hates me. She hates what you represent. What? Another chance to lose me. Jae-min looked at him. Tae-hyun's eyes were tired. Ian's death destroyed this family. Then you should let me leave. No. Why? Because whoever killed Ian may still be alive. Jae-min froze. That isn't what the book said. The book was wrong. How? Tae-hyun's expression became grim. The official story says Ian died from an accidental overdose. Jae-min stared. That wasn't an accident? No. Then who killed him? I don't know. Jae-min remembered the novel. There had been no murder investigation. Ian's death was simply accepted as tragedy. But if Tae-hyun had discovered something different, then the story he knew might have been deliberately falsified. That afternoon, Tae-hyun brought him to a private study. A folder sat on the desk. Inside were photographs, medical reports, bank records, messages. Jae-min looked through them. Then he stopped. A name appeared repeatedly. Han Seung-woo, his own surname. His blood turned cold. That's my family. Tae-hyun nodded. Your surname doesn't exist in my world. Jae-min looked up. What? There is no Han Jae-min. He turned another page. A photograph showed a man who looked exactly like Jae-min, but older, the same eyes, the same face. Tae-hyun whispered, Someone erased you from this world before you ever arrived. Jae-min stared at the photograph. Then his phone rang. He didn't recognize the number. He answered. A distorted voice spoke. Stop investigating. Jae-min's blood ran cold. Who are you? You weren't supposed to wake up. The call ended. Tae-hyun immediately took the phone from his hand. His expression had become murderous. From now on, he said, you don't leave my side. Jae-min stared at him. For the first time, he realized this was no longer just a transmigration story. Someone had brought him here, and someone wanted him dead. Chapter 5. The Truth Beneath the Scent. The investigation changed everything. Tae-hyun stopped treating Jae-min as a temporary mystery. He treated him as someone who needed protection. Everywhere Jae-min went, the Alpha was nearby. At first, it was irritating. Then it became strangely comforting. They began working together. Jae-min remembered fragments of the novel. Tae-hyun supplied facts the novel had never mentioned. Slowly, the two versions of reality began connecting. 3 days later, Jae-min discovered something unexpected. The original Seo Ian had been taking suppressants. But his medical records showed something impossible. His Omega traits had begun changing months before his death. Jae-min stared at the report. Tae-hyun. The Alpha looked over. What? Ian wasn't supposed to be able to conceive. Tae-hyun's expression changed. No. He had been given medication to suppress his secondary gender. For how long? Years. Tae-hyun's eyes darkened. Who prescribed it? Jae-min turned the page. A private clinic, owned by the Han family, his family. He felt sick. I don't understand. Tae-hyun took the report. Neither do I. Jae-min suddenly felt dizzy. His scent changed. Tae-hyun noticed immediately. Jae-min. The room filled with a sweet Omega pheromone. Jae-min grabbed the desk. I don't feel well. Tae-hyun approached. Your heat? No. His body trembled. This isn't normal. Tae-hyun removed his jacket and placed it around Jae-min's shoulders. Look at me. Jae-min did. Breathe. The Alpha's voice was calm. Jae-min followed it. Slowly, the dizziness faded. But something else remained. Tae-hyun's scent had changed. It was warmer, protective, possessive. Jae-min whispered, Why does your scent calm me? Tae-hyun didn't answer. Why? Because we're compatible. Jae-min stared. Compatible? More than compatible. The Alpha looked away. Ian and I were compatible too. Something inside Jae-min tightened. He shouldn't have been jealous. He wasn't Ian. Yet the thought of Tae-hyun comparing them hurt. Tae-hyun seemed to understand. I shouldn't have said that. No. Jae-min forced a smile. You should remember him. Tae-hyun looked at him. I do. Good. But you're not him. Jae-min froze. Tae-hyun continued. I don't want to pretend you're him. His voice softened. I want to know you. Jae-min couldn't speak. The Alpha stepped closer. You're Han Jae-min. Yes. You like bitter coffee. Jae-min blinked. You hate overly sweet desserts. How do you know? You complain whenever the cook makes them. I've been here for 4 days. I notice things. Jae-min's heart beat faster. You're afraid of being forgotten. He looked away. And you laugh when you're nervous. Jae-min smiled despite himself. You've been watching me. Yes. The answer was immediate. Too immediate. Jae-min's face heated. Before either could say anything else, the door opened. A guard rushed inside. Sir, there's been an incident. Tae-hyun turned. What happened? Someone broke into the old memorial house. Jae-min stood. Why? The guard hesitated. They were looking for Ian's belongings. Tae-hyun's expression became cold. What was stolen? A photograph. Which one? The guard looked at Jae-min. The photograph from the night Ian died. Jae-min's breath stopped. That photograph had never existed in the novel. Tae-hyun grabbed his coat. Stay here. No. Jae-min. I know something. What? The person who killed Ian wasn't trying to erase his death. Tae-hyun stared at him. They were trying to hide what happened before it. Jae-min looked at the empty doorway. And I think my arrival exposed them. For the first time, Tae-hyun reached for his hand. He didn't hesitate. Then we'll find them together. Chapter 6. The Man Who Wasn't Ian. The memorial house stood at the edge of the Kang estate. It had been abandoned for years. Inside, dust covered everything. Tae-hyun walked carefully through the rooms. Jae-min followed. The photograph was here, the Alpha said. Where? Behind this painting. He moved the frame. A hidden compartment opened. Empty. Jae-min frowned. Who knew about this? My mother. Anyone else? Ian. Jae-min touched the compartment. Suddenly, a memory struck him. Not his own. Ian's. A hallway. Rain. A man's voice. Don't trust your Alpha. Jae-min stumbled. Tae-hyun caught him. What happened? I remembered something. What? Ian was here. When? The night before he died. Tae-hyun went pale. What did he say? I don't know. Another flash. Ian was holding a photograph. Someone stood behind him. A voice whispered, if Tae-hyun discovers the truth, he'll destroy everything. Jae-min opened his eyes. Someone threatened him. Tae-hyun's hands tightened around his shoulders. Who? I couldn't see. Try. I can't. Tae-hyun released him. Sorry. Jae-min looked at him. You're afraid. Yes. Because you think I'll disappear again. Tae-hyun's eyes met his. I already lost him once. But I'm not Ian. I know. Then don't treat me like him. Tae-hyun stepped closer. I don't. Then what am I to you? Silence. The question hung between them. Tae-hyun's voice was quiet. Ju? Jae-min's heart stopped. You're not his replacement. The Alpha touched his cheek. You're not a second chance to fix the past. His thumb brushed Jae-min's skin. You're the first person I've wanted to know after losing him. Jae-min's eyes burned. Tae-hyun. The Alpha leaned closer, then stopped. I won't touch you unless you want me to. Jae-min looked at him. After everything, the fear, the confusion, the impossible world, this was the first moment that felt like his choice. He closed the distance himself. Their lips touched. It was gentle, brief, but enough to change everything. When they separated, Tae-hyun rested his forehead against Jae-min's. I know you're not Ian. Jae-min smiled faintly. Good. I think that's why I'm falling for you. Jae-min's breath caught. Then a gunshot shattered the window. Tae-hyun pulled Jae-min down. Glass exploded across the room. Stay behind me. Another shot. Tae-hyun grabbed him and ran toward the rear exit. They reached the forest. Footsteps followed. Jae-min turned. A masked man stood among the trees. He raised a weapon. Tae-hyun stepped in front of Jae-min. The shot fired. Tae-hyun collapsed. Tae-hyun! Jae-min dropped beside him. Blood spread across his shirt. No. Tae-hyun gritted his teeth. Run. I won't. Jae-min, run. The masked man approached. Then he spoke. Not to Tae-hyun, to Jae-min. You finally remembered. Jae-min froze. What? The man removed his mask. Jae-min stared. He knew that face. It belonged to someone who had appeared only once in the novel. Someone everyone believed had died years ago. Seo Ian's older brother, Seo Min Jae. Jae-min whispered his name. Min-jae smiled. You're not supposed to be here. Jae-min felt cold. Who am I? Min-jae looked at him. That's the question you've been asking since you woke up. He glanced at Tae-hyun. And the answer is worse than you think. Chapter 7. The Soul Inside the Body. Tae-hyun was unconscious. Jae-min sat beside him in a safe house, unable to stop staring at the bandage covering his shoulder. The bullet had passed through. He was alive, but barely awake. Min-jae had disappeared before the police arrived. He left behind only one message. Find the laboratory beneath the old Han clinic. Jae-min knew the place. Or rather, he remembered it from the flashes. The old clinic had belonged to his supposed family. But Han Jae-min had never existed in the original novel. That contradiction haunted him. At dawn, Tae-hyun woke. Jae-min. Jae-min immediately looked up. You're awake. Yes. You scared me. Tae-hyun smiled faintly. You were worried. Of course I was. The Alpha reached for his hand. I heard you calling my name. Jae-min held his hand tightly. I thought you were going to die. I promised I wouldn't. You can't promise that. I can try. Jae-min laughed weakly. Then he became serious. I need to find the clinic. Tae-hyun nodded. I'll come. No. Yes. You're injured. So are you. Jae-min looked down. He had a small cut across his palm. That doesn't count. It counts to me. The words silenced him. They reached the clinic that evening. The building had been abandoned. Beneath the basement floor, they found a hidden elevator. It descended into darkness. The laboratory was still operational. Screens flickered. Medical files covered the walls. Jae-min found his own name. Han Jae-min, Subject 001. His hands trembled. What is this? Tae-hyun stared at the file. Your birth date. Jae-min read it. It was identical to his real-world birthday. Impossible. Then another document appeared. Soul transfer compatibility, 98.7%. Jae-min stopped breathing. I wasn't transported here by accident. Tae-hyun looked at him. No, I was brought here. Yes. A recording activated. A man's voice filled the room. Subject Jae-min possesses an unusually stable consciousness pattern. The original host body has rejected every replacement soul except his. Jae-min's eyes widened. Original host. Tae-hyun looked at the screen. The recording continued. Seo Ian's body was preserved after clinical death. Jae-min whispered. They knew. The voice continued. We needed a compatible soul capable of restoring the body. Tae-hyun's expression became murderous. Who created this? Jae-min found another file. The author was listed. Kang Madam. Project Resurrection. He stared. Tae-hyun? The Alpha's face went pale. My mother. A second recording activated. Madam Kang appeared on screen. Her expression was tired. Ian was never meant to die. Jae-min listened. She explained everything. Ian had discovered corruption within the Kang family. He was murdered before he could expose it. Madam Kang had tried to preserve his body, but the body remained unresponsive. Years later, she discovered records about Jae-min's soul. She brought him across worlds, not to replace Ian, but to give Ian's body another chance at life. Jae-min's eyes filled with tears. So I'm just a replacement. Tae-hyun immediately turned toward him. No. But that's why I'm here. No. You heard her. Tae-hyun took his face between his hands. I don't care why you arrived. Jae-min looked at him. I care that you're here. The Alpha's eyes were wet. You are not Ian. I know. You're Jae-min. Yes. And I love you. Jae-min broke. He leaned into Tae-hyun's arms. For the first time since waking in this world, he allowed himself to believe he belonged somewhere. Then, the laboratory doors opened. Madame Kang stood there. Behind her was Seo Min, and between them was the body of another man, a man who looked exactly like Jae-min. Min smiled. The experiment isn't finished. Madame Kang whispered, because the original soul is awake. Chapter 8. The Original Soul. The man on the table opened his eyes. Jae-min froze. He was looking at himself. Same face. Same eyes. Same scar. Tae-hyun stepped protectively in front of him. What is this? Madame Kang's voice shook. This is the original host. Jae-min stared. How? He was created from the genetic template of the body you inhabit. Jae-min felt dizzy. You mean I'm not inside Ian's body? No. Madame Kang looked at him. You are inside a reconstructed vessel. The room became silent. Jae-min looked at his hands. His body felt real. His heartbeat was real. His memories were real. But somewhere beneath all of it was another identity. The original Seo Ian. The man on the table moved. His eyes opened fully. Tae-hyun whispered, Ian. Jae-min stepped backward. The original Ian looked at him, then smiled. Jae-min. Jae-min's blood turned cold. You know me? I know everything. Ian sat up. I remember dying. Tae-hyun looked between them. Why did you let him live? Ian answered softly. Because I wanted him to have what I couldn't. What? A future. Jae-min's eyes filled with tears. Ian looked at Tae-hyun. You loved me. Yes. You still do. Tae-hyun nodded. But you love him too. The alpha couldn't answer. Ian smiled. That's okay. Jae-min stepped forward. Why did you bring me here? Ian looked at him. Because you were the only soul capable of carrying my body without losing yourself. And what happens to you? Ian's smile faded. I don't have much time. Tae-hyun stepped forward. No. I died 3 years ago. You're alive now. Because of him. Ian looked at Jae-min. And because of him, I can finally let go. Jae-min shook his head. You don't have to. Do. Suddenly alarms began ringing. Min-jae shouted. Security breached. The laboratory doors exploded open. Men rushed inside. Madame Kang pulled Ian toward the exit. Tae-hyun grabbed Jae-min. Stay with me. I am. A bullet struck the wall. They ran. The laboratory began collapsing. Jae-min and Tae-hyun reached the elevator. Then Jae-min heard Ian shouting. He turned. Ian was trapped beneath fallen metal. Jae-min ran back. Jae-min. He ignored Tae-hyun. Together, they lifted the debris. Ian looked at him. You really are kind. I don't want you to die again. Ian smiled. You don't understand. What? I already gave you my life. Jae-min froze. Ian touched his chest. You aren't living in my body. His voice became softer. You're carrying my unfinished heart. Jae-min cried. Tae-hyun reached them. They escaped moments before the laboratory collapsed. Outside, snow began falling. Ian looked toward the sky. This is beautiful. Then he turned toward Tae-hyun. Take care of him. Tae-hyun nodded. I will. Ian smiled. His body began fading into light. Jae-min reached for him. Thank you. Ian's final words were barely audible. Live differently. Then he disappeared. The snow continued falling. Tae-hyun wrapped his arms around Jae-min. Jae-min cried against his chest. For the first time, he wasn't mourning a character from a book. He was mourning a person. And somewhere inside his heart, a voice whispered goodbye. Chapter 9. A Future Outside the Novel. 6 months passed. The Kang family changed. Madam Kang exposed the people responsible for Ian's murder. The corrupt officials were arrested. The hidden laboratory was destroyed. The Han family disappeared from the center of power, and the story Jae-min once knew no longer existed. The Winter Foundation Gala arrived. Jae-min stood in front of a mirror. He wore a black suit. His hair was neatly styled. He looked at his reflection. Not Ian, not a character. Jae-min. He smiled. Behind him, Tae-hyun adjusted his tie. You look nervous. I am. Why? This is where everything was supposed to begin. Tae-hyun raised an eyebrow. The story. Yes. In the original story, this was where you were supposed to meet me. Jae-min smiled. I already met you. Unfortunately. Jae-min laughed. Tae-hyun leaned closer. Fortunately for me. They arrived at the gala together. People stared. The Kang heir had always attended alone. Now he entered with an Omega beside him. Whispers spread. Who is that? Isn't he? Seo Ian. Jae-min ignored them. He held Tae-hyun's hand. The Alpha squeezed it. You okay? Yes. Then someone approached. The protagonist. The man who had once been destined to change Tae-hyun's life. Jae-min recognized him immediately. In another timeline, this meeting would have been the beginning of their romance. Now the man simply smiled. Mr. Kang. Tae-hyun nodded politely. Good evening. His gaze returned to Jae-min. The protagonist noticed. You two are together? Yes, Tae-hyun answered. No hesitation. The other man smiled. Then congratulations. He walked away. Jae-min stared after him. That was it? Tae-hyun laughed. Were you expecting dramatic music? I thought the universe would intervene. It didn't. Maybe we changed the story. No. Tae-hyun looked at him. We changed our lives. Jae-min smiled. Later that night, they stepped onto the balcony. Snow covered the city. Tae-hyun stood beside him. Do you miss your old world? Jae-min thought about it. Sometimes. What do you miss? My apartment. Tae-hyun smiled. Anything else? Coffee. We have coffee. Not the same. What about your old life? Jae-min looked toward the city. I used to think I was alone. And now? Jae-min turned. Now I know better. Tae-hyun reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small box. Jae-min's eyes widened. Tae-hyun, don't panic. You're proposing? Yes. That was not calming. Tae-hyun laughed. Then he opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring. I know you aren't Ian. Jae-min's eyes became wet. I know. I don't want to marry you because you have his face. Tae-hyun took his hand. I want to marry you because you're Jae-min. He slid the ring onto his finger. Because you make me laugh. Another ring appeared. Because you argue with me. The second ring was placed in Tae-hyun's hand. Because you stole my coffee. I didn't steal it. You did. You had 6 cups. Still mine. Jae-min laughed. Then he placed the ring on Tae-hyun's finger. I choose you. Tae-hyun's expression softened. I choose you too. They kissed beneath the falling snow. Somewhere far away, the old story ended. But theirs was just beginning. Chapter 10. The Man He Chose. 1 year later, Jae-min returned to the lake. It was the place where Seo Ian had been photographed beneath the cherry trees. Spring had arrived. Pink petals floated across the water. Tae-hyun stood beside him. You've been quiet. Jae-min smiled. I was thinking about the first day. The hospital? Yes. You were terrified. I thought I had stolen someone's life. Tae-hyun looked at him. You didn't. I know that now. Jae-min touched the ring on his finger. I used to believe transmigration meant becoming someone else. And now, Maybe it means getting a second chance to become yourself. Tae-hyun smiled. That sounds like something Ian would say. Jae-min looked at him. Do you still miss him? Yes. The answer was honest. Jae-min nodded. So do I. They stood quietly. There was no jealousy anymore. Only gratitude. Tae-hyun reached for his hand. There's something I never told you. What? The day you woke up, I almost left. Jae-min frowned. Why? Because I was afraid. Of me? Of wanting you to be Ian. Jae-min squeezed his hand. But you stayed. Yes. Why? Tae-hyun smiled. Because you looked at me like you already knew me. Jae-min laughed. I did. From a book. Still counts. Tae-hyun pulled him closer. I thought you were a ghost. I thought you were fictional. Maybe we were both wrong. Jae-min rested his head against his shoulder. They watched the petals drift across the lake. Then Tae-hyun said something that made Jae-min look up. Come home. Jae-min smiled. That's already my home. They walked back together. Halfway there, Jae-min stopped. What? He looked toward the lake. For one brief second, he thought he saw someone standing beneath the cherry tree. A beautiful man with black hair. Ian. Jae-min's breath caught. The figure smiled, then disappeared behind the falling petals. Tae-hyun noticed his expression. Did you see something? Jae-min smiled. No. He took Tae-hyun's hand. Nothing. They continued walking. The story had changed. The dead Omega had been given peace. The Alpha had learned that love did not mean holding on to the past. And Jae-min had learned that being someone else's second chance did not make him less real. He wasn't Seo Ian. He wasn't a replacement. He wasn't a character trapped inside someone else's story. He was Han Jae-min. And he had chosen this life. He had chosen this Alpha. He had chosen to stay. Behind them, the cherry blossoms continued falling. Ahead was a future that had never existed in the novel. A future no author had written. A future that belonged only to them. Tae-hyun squeezed his hand. Jae-min. I love you. Jae-min smiled. I know. The Alpha frowned. You're supposed to say it back. Jae-min laughed. I love you too. Tae-hyun pulled him closer. And beneath the spring sky, the two men walked toward home. Not as Alpha and Omega from a predetermined story. Not as a dead lover and his replacement, but simply as two men who had found each other after the world had told them they shouldn't. For the first time, there was no ending waiting for them, only tomorrow, and tomorrow belonged to them.